So yeah, yesterday we ended up doing about 15 miles to Kern River slash Monach or Monachi Meadow. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but yeah, it was fairly easy. But biggest thing I noticed is just adding that extra 6 or 7 pounds. The body feels it today for sure, and my feet in particular. But it's like anything on this trail. Do it for a week or so, your body gets used to it, and it'll just be all that much better when we got to ditch the extra gear, ice axe, crampons, bear can, all that stuff. So, but yeah, this morning was in the 20s for sure. I think we were around 8,000 feet, maybe a little more. Yeah, did a coffee for the first time in like a few weeks. I've only done coffee a few times so far, but that was unreal to have this morning. And today the plan is, I think we're gonna just take our time and try and do 18, which will set us up to do about 16 miles to Chicken Spring Lake the next day. And then from there, I was trying to figure out what I'm gonna do, because those guys are gonna camp at Crabtree Meadow, which apparently for PCT hikers, that's the closest you can camp to Whitney. They're gonna dump their gear, go up Whitney, come back, probably nap for a few hours, and then push on and do another like 8 or something. But I don't know what I'm gonna do, because the distance from there to Forester doesn't really make sense for early morning summit of Forester. So I'm either gonna have to do like a 20 that day, maybe even more, maybe like a 22, to put me close enough that I can do Forester first thing in the morning, or I can do like 11 and just get right to the base of Forester and then do Forester in the morning, and that way they'd be caught up. So I think we'll just play it by ear, see how I feel that day. Yeah, the walking's been actually pretty easy. It's just the extra weight that's been tough. But the other thing this morning is I wanted to just do a quick recap of the desert, since we turned the page on that and now we're officially starting the Sierra section. The desert was beautiful. Takeaway for me was early March start, a March start. You definitely have a chance to beat the heat a little bit, and we did have a lot of wind though, which I haven't really heard too much about when I was researching the PCT. So I don't know if that's a seasonal thing, or if it was just because of the year, but we basically had wind from like 3 days in throughout the whole time in the desert. So I'll take the wind over the heat for sure, but it was constant. Like we had, I'd say at least 40-50 mile an hour winds for like 3 weeks, and then there was a week where we had pretty consistent like 70-80 mile an hour winds. So that was interesting for sure. But yeah, and this year the water situation was, from what I've read, like definitely a lot less than previous years, but it's also going into like a 3-year drought. So any of you that are starting late April, May, just keep that in mind, that this year is definitely going to be a tough one in that regard. So, but yeah, the desert was awesome. It was a lot more climbing than I anticipated coming out here. I thought it was going to be quite a bit more flat, but then you just get more views. So, but yeah, we're hiking in a pretty big bubble. There was like probably 50 hikers that left Grumpy Bears yesterday. So, I'm sure once we hit NorCal, things will spread out a bit, paces will change and that kind of thing, but yeah, it'll make it nicer for safety and numbers going over passes and stuff like that. But yeah, we got a beautiful morning, and I think it's gonna be another good day. I'll check in again in the evening. Good evening. I think I'll do my check-in now. It's like 5:30. We're probably like about a mile from camp, and that'll mean we did 17.5 today. This area has been really beautiful. Finally feels like we're actually in the Sierra. New development is my left Achilles is giving me a little bit of grief, so yeah, I don't know. I'm wearing boots now, so I don't know if it's like the limited range of motion or what, but I've had similar things back home when I've worn boots, but it's just pushing more miles than usual too. So but the climbing's been pretty pretty manageable actually. It hasn't been too bad at all. Even though the climbs are like 2,000 or more feet, they're just super gradual here, and such beautiful scenery around makes it easier too. But yeah, so plan for tomorrow is well, I'll see how my Achilles feels tomorrow. I'm gonna massage it tonight, take some Advil. I don't like taking Advil while I'm hiking because I like to know exactly how it feels, and just base my mileage off of that rather than mask it. But yeah, I think we're gonna try and hike to Chicken Spring Lake tomorrow and camp there, which is at mile 750, which is, I think, almost exactly 17 miles from where we're camping tonight. So but yeah, it was a really beautiful day today, and other than that, I'll check in the morning.